It was about time that I made this video. I've been muddling around with morality and ideas of good and evil, and exploring those things, and it became obvious to me at some point that there's a difference between what I would describe as alignment and morality, and I had hoped to outline the difference here. Now, morality, on some level, is a code of ethics, and it seems to have something to do with uh, good and evil, but I'm not convinced that it actually does. Uh, so, what I mean by that is, I'll give some examples. So, you know, you might find, a morality that comports to a political leaning or something like this, but uh, you know, when it comes to something like, say, uh, abortion, I guess, there's actually a reasonable amount of gray area here, and some people think it's not gray, but I think it's pretty gray, and it, people have opinions on abortion, people have opinions on welfare, and it has to do with morality, but I think that that's distinctly different than alignment. And I'll go into alignment, and perhaps it's, I'm pulling this. I'm pulling this from really the traditional sort of D&D system, where you're actually looking at 9 different alignments: lawful, neutral, chaotic, or um, good, neutral, or evil, and that expands out to 9, where you can be lawful good, or you can be chaotic evil, or you can be chaotic good, or you can be true neutral, and these alignments are uh, they are more objective than moralities. So when determining alignment, there's some really distinct qualities, I think, and my view is really these are different things. So, for example, you what is, for example, a uh, predatory, uh, cannibalistic psychopath? Is this Does that person have morality? Do they have a morality? And so, for example, let's go take a glance at Sverige. Actually, Sverige does have a morality. He can, in spite of him being a psychopathic, cannibalistic predator, quite obviously and admittedly in his part, he espouses a form of morality and a path to ascension, which includes sort of a drinking human blood can basically get you to the next level, is what he says, and you know, but it is a morality, and no matter how corrupt you might and evil you might describe that morality, the morality is there. So, but alignment is actually just a discussion of the underlying acts. It's not the, I really think this is sort of a one is the map and one is the territory type of situations. Um, so, morality can be evil. Sverige obviously has an evil morality. Now, is Sverige himself evil? I think so. I would say so. I think that if you're a cannibalistic, predatory psychopath, you are objectively an evil person. Um, and so, you know, it's really kind of um, an interesting view that you can take of alignment, because you know these are sort of objective archetypes that are immutable and have less to do with morality, because you don't you can find throughout psychopathic history where you can talk with or view videos of psychopaths online, and then also normal people, um, or really great people. uh, you can uh, you can view that, you know, that there's morality that's at work in all of these, and they're not all the same morality. Uh, they're even when discussing objectively evil people, especially, and when we're talking about uh, cannibalistic, predatory psychopaths, they are objectively, um, how you would put it in these terms, is they are chaotic evil. They have no respect for the law or anyone's rules, and doing they're doing evil acts. They're evil even in spite of the law. Uh, now, no, but then we can talk about other things. So, for example, you know, you can look at big, and this is the thing, the evil spectrum in this is all occupied by psychopaths. So, um, you know, you get a neutral evil. This is a this is a person who is obeying the law when they have to, but they are evil in spite of their morality, which appears to be neutral. Um, Now, when looking at a lawful evil, that's the CEO, that's the corporate figurehead who's doing massively damn. I mean, they're just dumping toxic waste into natural environments, and um, they're ruining people's lives. They're bankrupting their companies and firing everyone, uh, and just all they're doing is you know, objectively, these are evil acts, but it's all legal. It's all completely legal. You can do this under the law, but and that's the excuse. This is how evil works. This is how lawful evil works. It's doing evil, but we haven't. And I think this is the most sophisticated form of evil, because uh, it's hard to regulate really intelligent evil, because they are on the borders of uh, where our society is figuring everything out, and they're basically running full speed doing evil. And so it's only after the fact, oh, we're catching up and then doing some regulations, but then there are the evil people coming up behind them and wiping those regulations away, uh, so that evil can continue to be lawful. Um, and I it's the most sophisticated. I do think the most reprehensible is the chaotic evil people, like our friends that I talk about a lot. Um, not friends, but I would if I were being honest, I'd say mortal enemies. Um, uh, yeah, you know, and there's a conflict. eh, There's a conflict that sort of gets brushed aside by humanity, because humanity, by and large, the because of the Overton window, um, we've sort of been pushed around to a sort of true neutral, where uh, we're not doing the evils that we once were, like um, sort of you know, what comes to mind is the Catholic Church going around and torturing people for not converting. Um, so we're that's sort of institutional evil. I mean, that's like next level. It's when chaotic evil has taken over the uh, the entire system. They're they're ordained to go around and torture people, and it's about as bad as it can get. Uh, and we don't do that anymore. So, but um, we've managed to sort of get to a point where most people are on board about true neutral, uh, and that basically means neutral in law, um, and neutral in good and evil. So it's just middle ground, total middle ground, and that's the best we've been able to do. It's not really enough because um, we we should be aspiring for at least chaotic good, at least chaotic good, and that's because you know our society should be centered around, at least in part, dealing out justice and and compassion. This should be the central driving force of our society, a global society, is justice balanced with compassion. So, and and particularly, one of the things that we should be doing is actually finding, going out, putting our energy, our efforts, our political money, our finances. We should be investing our energy collectively as humans, uh, pumping up the government to literally seek out and find chaotic evil and destroy it. That means those cannibalistic, predatory weirdos hiding out in their basement and abducting children. We should be finding these people and killing them, and and we should be doing it a very ambitious effort to remove it. And I suppose that would be lawful good, but maybe not. Maybe it's chaotic. I'm not. It's good though, because the thing is, the as long as we tolerate evil, evil will be there, and it will be dragging our society. It will be regressing our society, and the and it's. I mean, this is a really terrible thing, that it's a fact that most of the leaders, Donald Trump is a narcissist, Obama was a sociopath, Hillary Clinton is a psychopath. Um, why are we letting the worst kinds of people rule us? It's really bad. At the very least, when it comes to the political arena, there should absolutely be no psychopaths. Fine, a narcissist, it's one thing. A sociopath, that's another. But we can actually do brain scans and find psychopaths. They should not be ruling us under any circumstance. In fact, they should have no power. And even further than that, we should be destroying every single one of them. We should be scanning everyone's brain and destroying psychopaths. They absolutely should not exist among us. They are monsters without empathy. They just simply add nothing to society, nothing good. And this is the thing. If you talk to anyone who's known a psychopath, who met one in their life, they all say the same thing, and I'll tell you it right here. I escaped them, and now they're someone else's problem, because psychopaths latch on to people and make their lives miserable for a while, and then and that person, it's like getting a giant mosquito stabbed into your neck, and you wrestle it off and push it away and run, and now that you're basically running away, you got away, you escaped, but that mosquito's gonna go over there and stab someone else in the neck, and then suck their blood out. This is the pattern of psychopaths. They are vermin. They are not human in any meaningful way. So, um, our society is stuck on true neutral, and it's basically saying, oh, those mosquitoes, those giant mosquitoes that stab people in the neck and drain their blood out, they're I know you don't really like it, but they kind of, it's okay. Just let them do their thing. And it's like the only reason these people are saying that, the only reason our society is like that is because psychopaths make up 1% of the 1 to 3% of the population, and most people actually haven't had contact with this creature. They don't know that these are eternally damaging evil monsters that are lurking about in our society disguised as people. And it's really frustrating because everyone who's had contact with psychopaths understands completely that this is a problem. It's a real problem, and especially considering they're ruling us. They manage to climb to positions of power, and all they do is generate more havoc and violence, and we're left to suffer it. And then they work together. They network because they recognize each other. I recognize them now, but I'm one of the few because I've been a part of their victimizing, and so and everyone who has been a victim can spot them easier. And you can actually look. Go check out some Jordan Peterson videos. He talks about this. But until you actually deal with a psychopath, you don't know what Jordan Peterson's saying. And this is the problem: is that people don't take it seriously. It's very much like convincing people vampires exist, and it's really fucked up because it's hard to know. It's actually hard to understand what people say when you say psychopath, unless they've actually met one and known one. It's hard to know what people mean. And so I'm trying to sort of raise awareness that there is objective evil that exists. There's evil. They are cannibalistic, predatory monsters, and it's exactly like just a horde of vampires lurking about in society. We should be destroying them. We should be finding all of them and destroying them, because they're not, they don't have empathy. And this is the thing, by anyone's definition of morality, even if you take, I'm gonna use my friend here, Matt Dillahunty, who refuses to go vegan. Even by his morality, he says that he makes exceptions for humans because we have a moral understanding of empathic contracts, more or less. That's basically what he's saying. And the thing about that is that you have to have empathy to reciprocate that contract. You have to have empathy to know what's going on in their mind. And Matt Dillahunty elaborates this quite more clearly than I can, but essentially, if you can't register that someone is thinking about your position because they know about their position, then you don't owe them any rights. And that's where we're at with psychopaths, is that we don't actually owe them human rights. They should not have them, because they're more like a predator or a parasite in the fact that they can't feel empathy. So, we're stuck, our society is stuck in this neutral alignment when we should be moving towards good. And this is way more important than anything political. It's way more important than industry. It's more important than everything about humanity. Alignment is the single most important issue, because no matter what you do, even if you invent, let's say you invent a device that can cure world hunger tomorrow. If you put it in the hands of an evil society, it will do no good at all. If you put it in the hands of someone evil, it will do no good at all. And so that's why alignment's so important, because it's the basis by which we choose to do something with something. And if you aren't going to choose a good thing to do with anything, then we're doing quite bad. It means that, especially if your society is, neutral is not a good position to be in, because it's permissible. It's just permits everything, and that's where we're at, more or less. It's just we're permitting anything and everything. It really is the rule of Aleister Crowley right now. To just do what thou wilt. We have societies all over that they are just, they can be evil, they can be good, and the whole world is just on board about letting all of that go. And again, I'm actually not talking about morality, because morality has to do with sort of a set of rules, and alignment has to do. I mean, here it really is. If you are a misanthrope, if you have, if you're just, you boot this first in your brain, you're just like, I wish all consciousness would suffer and die. You are an evil entity, and that's alignment. It's different than morality, because no normal person actually, even no matter what morality that you have, no normal person has that. But there are actually people like that, and that's psychopaths. They are genuinely just sadistic, malicious, predatory, cannibalistic monsters. And they genuinely just want humans to suffer. They want everything to suffer and die. And that's where alignment comes in. A good alignment is very much, I'm trying to maximize people's comfort. I'm trying to build the best systems of justice, and we're at neutral, where we're basically permitting everyone to exist. And I don't actually think that that's good. I think that neutrality is not, it's not good enough. And I really hope that we spend that we're spending this next century fixing fixing the evil of the world, changing our global society from neutral to good. Because tolerating this evil it's disgusting. There's no good reason to do it anymore. We can scan brains and literally, this is exactly like if we, you go from having sort of mystic vampire hunters in a society who they individually can detect evil and hunt the monsters, but it's going from that to now the entire society has detect evil spells. And so that's what institutional MRI machines, MRI scanning or PET scanning would be. It would be, okay, what we're going to do now is detect evil all over, and we're going to remove it. And that's what we should be doing. It's really, it is the most important endeavor that our species can do, because as long as evil is there, we're all in danger. And part of that is, all you have to do is think about, say, artificial intelligence. Well, at what point do you get really scared when a genuinely evil person is building an AI? It suddenly, you can reasonably fathom Skynet, and you can actually say Skynet is a probability at some point when there's enough evil people working in fields with systems like this. So we have to fix our alignment. It's not an issue of say gay marriage or drugs or anything political, Trump or Hillary or Obama or whatever, Pol Pot. It doesn't matter. None of this political crap is all that meaningful with respect to the discussion of alignment of our entire global society. You can kill people for good reasons or bad reasons. That's exactly what morality is about. But alignment is where you're deriving the the basis of your all of your actions, which is what I'm talking about here. You know, there's people who are distinctly evil, you know, psychopaths. They genuinely want consciousness and conscious creatures to suffer and die. It has nothing to do with morality. It has everything to do with just simply being an evil force in the world, and we should be working to correct that. It's the most important endeavor for humanity. So yeah, I just wanted to drag them out into the light, kicking and screaming, and you know, make this video about it.